Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have the very first Project Pan update for 2023. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so over the last month, I had a lot of fun having new products in my project. I did do this project all year last year, so it was really fun to be working on something different. However, I did decide that I am going to be making a couple of changes, so we'll get to that at the end, but let's check on our updates for the month. First up, the foundation that I put in my project for 2023 is my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. So this one has been replaced and reformulated, and this is the shade R260, which I'm pretty sure was my perfect shade at some point because I got matched in store at a Sephora for this shade, but maybe it was a summer shade, I'm not sure. I tried playing with this a few times this month and I was really not enjoying it because it's not a perfect shade match. I did end up mixing it with my Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer to make it work, and together they make a really great shade match. This one's too light for me, this one is too dark, and they both have a very light coverage to them. So they worked really well together. But I'm not somebody who enjoys mixing my foundations. I just don't. So for that reason, I'm just going to take this one out because I did not enjoy working through it. And I might pass it on to somebody I know who wears this shade, but who can get a lot more use out of this than I can. Next, I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. I have the shade Fair, and this one is honestly just so light that it barely shows up on my skin tone, and I kind of look like paper. So I don't know why this is so light, but I do think I have a bit more of a dip in the middle than I did initially. I've been consistently using this one, so I definitely do think I have quite a good dip in the middle. It really doesn't come off on camera, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it in photos. But I am remaining very hopeful that I'll be able to hit pan on this one this year. I definitely think I can. I feel like with consistent use, I'll be able to hit pan on this one by May. I can definitely see that, and then once I do, I'm going to cycle in another bronzer because this one really isn't that fun when I can't get any pigment out of it. So not much to update on this one, but it will be staying in the project. My Dior Powder No Powder. So this is one that I already had a significant dip out of the middle, but I really wanted to get a lot more use out of. They have discontinued this powder. They're reformulating to make it a more clean product, and they'll be eventually bringing it back. But because of that, I really wanted to kind of get a lot more use out of this, maybe use it up if I can. My goal for this project is just to hit pan. I think we're still a ways off. I want to say, if I had to guess where I'm going to end up hitting pan on this one, I would say maybe March or April. I do have a significant dip in the center, but I feel like there's so much more powder there than I actually give it credit for because I have been working on this powder for so long. Not a part of the project, but I feel like I've had it for a long time and I've used it a lot. So I'm very surprised that I have not hit pan yet. But I would guess around March, April, I should hopefully have pan on this one. Okay, next, I have my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. So this primer is one that I initially did not see the hype with, and I like it a lot more now. I really figured out that the trick is to really just push it into the skin as opposed to using swiping motions, and you want to be careful to not use too much because if you do use too much of this one, it's going to pill. But I do like it a lot more now than I used to. So this one does not feel like a chore to work through. I feel like I've got significant use out of this one. I really enjoy it. I'm really not picky with primers. So I think it's an important step for me personally, but I'm not picky. So I think I'll definitely be able to use this one up. I know I'm very close to hitting bottom in this one. I feel absolutely confident that by the next update, I'll have hit pan in this one, but my goal for this one is to actually use it up, so I'm not going to move it out of the project. I'm going to keep using this one until it is used up. I will definitely have pan on this one by the next update. Okay, my next product that I had in this project was a little bit more of a risky move for me, just as somebody who reviews these types of products a lot, but I decided to put in my ABH Soft Glam palette. So this is a palette I've had, it's probably one of my oldest palettes, and it's a beautiful, beautiful neutral palette. I love it, especially in the fall, and I love eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow palettes. They're my favorite thing to review, but I think because of that, I realized I'm not really a huge fan of trying to pan a palette. So I'm going to leave this one in for another month, and I'll reassess how I feel at the end of February. If I am really bored with this one, then I'm just going to take it out and I'm not going to have a palette in here. Thought I would try to change it up. I wanted to see if I could hit pan. There are a couple palettes that I know I'm very close, but this one I am particularly close in Tempera as well as Burnt Orange. So I would be happy if I could at least hit pan in one of those shades. My goal is to do both, but again, we'll see how I feel at the end of February. I actually did use this palette quite a lot this month, and I do still love it. I still think it's a really great palette. It's just that when I'm doing my makeup, I'm somebody who, in my head, I know what palette I want to use, and I don't want to have to stick to something. So for that reason, I'm really just not enjoying trying to pan a palette. I think perhaps I would benefit much more from something like a rotational Shop My Stash, where I have certain palettes that I work on for a month or 6 weeks, and I can add in the palettes that I am testing out, but as well just have a good selection of palettes that I want to focus on for 6 weeks. I think something like that would be really beneficial. So please let me know down below if you'd be interested in a Shop My Stash kind of rotation where I switch out my basket every so often. Let me know. I would be curious what you guys want to see, and I would love to do something like that if you're interested. So of course I will keep using this, and I will let you know at the end of February if I'm going to keep it in and keep trying to work on panning those two shades. If not, I'll take it out and I'll add in a different type of product. But so far, a little bit of progress on this one, nothing major, but I'm still happy with that. It is only 1 month. I did decide to actually put a lipstick in this project as well, and I chose to put in MAC Modesty. This has been such a favorite of mine for so long. You can see I've got a ton of use out of this one. It's the one I'm wearing today. I wear this one very, very often. It just goes with everything. It is the perfect pinky brownie kind of nude. I love it. And this is a shade that once I finish up, I am probably going to repurchase it once I get through the shades in my collection that are very similar. However, I love this lipstick so much. It is such a favorite. So we've made a little bit of progress on this one. I definitely think I'll have this one finished up by the summer, probably before then, but I'm just trying to be realistic. I don't want to be too optimistic here, but I do think that I can have this one finished by the summer. And we actually have the first empty of the year. That's not true, but this is the first empty of my project pan, and this is my Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly in the shade Coconut. So I know it looks like there's still a little bit in the package. There is not. I have tried and tried and tried to get it out, so I'm calling this one done. I love this gloss formula. It's just so nice on the lips. It's so lightweight. It's not at all sticky, which is such a huge criteria for me. I really enjoyed using this gloss. It's just so incredibly shiny and not even the littlest bit sticky. So I do love this formula. I would definitely consider repurchasing this one once I get through some of the ones I currently have, but I did really love this one. Okay, so getting into the changes. So I've got a foundation to replace the Makeup Forever, and I've got a couple of products I'd like to add in and see if we can finish up. So to replace the Makeup Forever foundation, I decided to put in my Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. So when I initially chose the Makeup Forever foundation, I almost looked at this one as well. So this one and the Makeup Forever are probably the oldest two foundations in my collection, so I automatically knew what I wanted to go with. This is such a nice foundation from the drugstore, especially from Essence. I think it's around $8. It gives such a nice medium to full coverage. Full if you really want to build it. I find when you go for a full coverage, it has a similar effect to the Catrice foundation that I rave about and love on so much. It looks so beautiful on the skin, but if you go in very light-handed, it looks very skin-like, and it just gives your skin like a healthy radiance. It's such a beautiful foundation, and again, it is very hydrating, so perfect for this time of year for me and my dry skin. I'm really going to enjoy working on this one. I will say, because this isn't a squeeze tube, I cannot fully tell exactly how much product I have, but I do believe it is still pretty full. But of course, I will keep you updated as soon as I start seeing product down here. it'll be really exciting because then we can really track the progress. So in this one, I also have the shade Neutral Ivory, which is a perfect shade match for me. So I think I'm going to enjoy working on this one for sure. And during my intro, I mentioned that I had a few concealers in my project last year, and I was kind of going to give myself a little bit of a break from trying to work on a concealer. But then this month I realized how low my one size Turn Up the Base Butter Silk concealer is getting. So this is a concealer that I have loved so much. And I didn't get to love it nearly as much as I wanted to last year because I was working on different concealers in my project pan. So in the month of January, I decided to dig this out, and I just really wanted to use it again because I really do love it so much. And then I realized it is also really low. So why not put it in my project and have it be one of those products that keeps me motivated because I can see so much progress. So I thought we would do this as well. And I also decided to put in my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude lip crayon in the shade Natasha. So this one I'm picking on for two reasons. This is one I reach for a lot. I love this shade. I am wearing it today. Part of why I love it so much is because it's such a perfect match for Modesty, and they just look great together. I also already have a backup of this one, so I do not need two of the same shade. So I'm going to try to finish this one up, and I already have a backup. So I thought it would make really good sense to have this one in the project as well. And that is it. So those are my updates and my changes for my project going forward. I can't wait to update you at the end of the month and let you know how I'm doing. But thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do project pan videos, but I also really focus on new makeup reviews. So I like to have something for everybody, and I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!